What is going on, everybody? My name's Chris. Welcome to Bourbinsane. We are back for the final round of my best budget $30 and under bourbon series. I know I took a long break in between doing the first 3 rounds and then putting out the finals, but I decided it's definitely finally time to get around to this. If you guys haven't seen the first 3 rounds to see how we got here, go watch those videos right now. I'm going to link them here. What we did is we did 4 bourbons per round, and the winner from each round advanced to the finals. I also brought back bourbons that I thought should have been in the finals, so that's how we got to where we are today. What are we going to be trying? Starting out with Four Roses Yellow Label. So this was our first round bourbon. It came ahead of Evan Williams, a couple others. Very good for the price. Very good for the price. We'll see how it holds up to the rest. But Buffalo Trace, budget bourbon, $25-ish. Great price, great flavor profile. It's a bourbon pretty much everyone should stock in their bar, in my opinion. Knob Creek 100, another very well-priced bourbon and a lot of flavor packed into this bottle. Definitely deserves to be in the finals, in my opinion, as a best budget bourbon. Elijah Craig Small Batch, just kind of a staple. Heaven Hill product, staple in budget bourbons, and definitely glad I included it in round 3 because this needed to come to the finals. And then my personal favorite going into the final round, Eagle Rare. Buffalo Trace product, 10-year age statement on this, and I got this for $29, I think it was, $30. So right, hits the nail right on the head for $30 bourbon. This is tougher to find in certain parts of the country now. It's starting to happen, but so is Buffalo Trace from what I've been hearing. So price is subjective based on where you live, but I just went by local prices for me. So as you can see, this is a packed round. I am going to go get my wife, pour some samples, have her shuffle them all around, and we'll be right back with you. All right, we are back. Samples are poured. Everything is blind. Let's get into this. Let's find out what the best budget bourbon under $30 is. Sample number 1. As I said, I did A through E these, and I have a little piece of paper here that'll tell me the results at the end. So let's find out. A nice rich, almost brown sugar, vanilla. On initial nose, I would say this has a Buffalo Trace profile. Sort of the, kind of describe it as like a cherry cola type nose, where it's got cherry, wood, oak notes, and then those classic bourbon notes I described. Did not taste like a Buffalo Trace product at all. Tastes more like Four Roses, honestly. On the nose, though, I was getting a lot more classic bourbon notes than I remember getting with Four Roses. Maybe as the bottles opened up a little bit, it's improved to what I like, at least in flavor profile-wise. Still smells awfully thin on the nose, I guess, but watch me be way off in my guess on these. I shouldn't be guessing on these. Yeah, still tastes a little bit thin. This is my first drink of the day, so it gave a little more burn, I think, than I was expecting. But if I was to guess, I'm going to say this is probably pretty low proof for the first sample. All right, sample number 2. Much more classic bourbon notes on the nose than the first sample. All the same things I was describing, really, with the brown sugar, vanilla caramel. Proof doesn't smell like it's really there. Almost a little chocolate note in the nose, actually. Yeah, a little bit of chocolate comes through on the palate, too, actually, on that. Which I don't remember describing a chocolate note on really any of these. Pretty good. The finish is a little bit lacking on this. I want a little bit more from the finish. Kind of just hits the back of the tongue and then dissipates completely. A little bit spicy. I don't think it's really the proof. I think it's more the flavors coming through. A little bit spicier. More earthy, I would describe this one as, actually. Kind of more earthy tones, like a little bit of a grassy note. Not bad. Really not bad, though, on that one either. I think I would choose sample 2 to sample 1 so far. All right, on to sample number 3. A little bit of a nut note comes through on this one. Similar nose to number 2 here, actually. Number 2 has got more alcohol burn on it. I think the proof might be amplified a little bit on this. Three smells good. It's not really blowing me away on the nose, though. The palate's really good on that one. Nice mouthfeel. Nice, same good classic bourbon notes. Brown sugar. That's good. That one actually leaves a really nice taste in the mouth. I mean, it doesn't feel too high proof. I think it's... Number 2 is so spicy. I think that spice might be throwing me off between proof and spice, but I think 3 might be a little bit higher proof than the first 2. Watch me be way off on these guys, but just based on initial taste, they're all actually really good. I think so far we've been getting better as I've been trying them. I like 3 to 2 to 1 so far. All right, on to sample number 4. Now this has much more of a, what I would describe as a nutty note than the other 3. I thought I got a little bit of it in sample 3, but this is much more pronounced. Barrel, can get the barrel influence a lot more in this as well. Yeah, it's almost like a nutty note with the oak surrounding it. Still the classic bourbon notes. Ooh, that's good. I like that one. On initial taste, I'm going to guess that this is the Knob Creek 100. Just based on the nuttiness I got from it, along with the oak influence. It didn't feel too high proof. I mean, 3 almost felt a little bit higher proof than 4 did. On the nose, 4 seems like it is higher proof, though. Yeah, I think sample 3 smells much more thin now compared to number 4 when I go into this. A nice richness. A very nice richness in this one. So far, we've been getting better. Progressively better. 4 is my favorite so far. I really like what that's bringing to the table. If that is, in fact, the Knob Creek, I don't remember liking it this much. Again, maybe this smaller bottle here has opened up a little bit as it's been drank down a little bit. So, all right, on to our 5th sample. Proof doesn't smell too high on this one. Boy, I don't know which one of these is the Eagle Rare. Interesting. This just smells like a really solid bourbon. I mean, on the nose, it just smells very solid. Very approachable. Something you want to take a sip of. Ooh. Flavor is good on that, too. Boy, flavor is good on that. Man, this is tough. This is tough. I'm definitely going to have to go back through these and try all these again. 4 and 5 flavor is great. I'm going to have to take some time and clear my palate a little bit because for some reason I can't pick out what the Buffalo Trace products are. Usually their flavor profile is very distinct to me and I'm fine picking them out, but right now for some reason I can't. So let's take a quick second. I'll take some time. We'll come back. We'll try them again. All right, we are back. Took about 15 minutes there. Let's go back through the samples. I'm going to go in the opposite order of where I started. So we'll work from 5 down to 1. See if anything changes on it. So let's go back into the first one here. Very nice nose. I really like the nose on this. A little bit of spice kick, a little bit of barrel. Not overwhelming with the barrel notes, though. Now, Eagle Rare, I never get a huge amount of barrel notes anyway. Not usually in the bottles I've had. This could be the Eagle Rare. It just tastes good. It just tastes like a good bourbon you'd want to drink anytime. Very, very solid pour here. It won't fight you at all. Not burning the tongue. It goes down really smooth. A very, very solid bourbon here, whatever this is. All right, on to sample number 4. Yeah, that same nutty note is coming through on this. Smells really good. I mean, if you like that nuttiness in bourbon, now Elijah Craig to me gets a nutty note a lot too, so it could be the Elijah Craig as well. I think this is the Knob Creek. Boy, that's just a solid pour. It's got everything you want. Oak notes, more of a rich vanilla and caramel note. I mean, it's more of those amplified bourbon notes. I don't know if it's maybe the proof, because I think this is higher proof. So maybe the proof is helping bring some of those notes forward for me. But that's really, really solid. Really good. It's hard to believe all these pours are only $30. I mean, every one of these I would take any day of the week. They're so good. All right, back to sample number 3. 3 smells much thinner now than number 4 did. It's still a very nice nose. I just think the proof is brought down, and me personally, I prefer the proof. This is a Buffalo Trace product. I can say that with a good amount of confidence now. That was that note I would describe. A little bit of that cherry cola note, which I don't know. I don't think 1 is a Buffalo Trace product. I think I was off on that. Yeah, this smells just very thin now. Yeah, this is either Eagle Rare or Buffalo Trace, I think, and it's very good. Buffalo Trace is an 8-year product. Eagle Rare is a 10-year product. So around the $30 price point, that's ridiculous for bourbon. Smells like a rick house. Love that smell. That's good. That is good. Nothing wrong with that one either. Nothing wrong with that one. Man, 4 and 5 are very, very nice. three, four, all of them. All of them are good. You can't go wrong when you're in the final round. You can't go wrong with bourbon, really. So, all right, on to number 2 again. A little more spice comes through on the nose this time. It's amazing drinking whiskey in a certain order can throw off flavor to flavor based on what you're trying before it. I don't know if that's more barrel spice. Almost seems like more barrel spice. Maybe it's coming off the back of that Buffalo Trace product here, but this also smells like a Buffalo Trace product now. Well, that could be the Elijah Craig, too. Oh, this round is hard. I'm not doing so well guessing on these, I don't think. It's so tough when they're all such good bourbons to decide and decipher. Man, 2 and 3 are really good, too. This is going to be a tough round. Tough round. Now the palate doesn't taste as much like Buffalo Trace, though. Boy, it's good, though. It's still really good. It doesn't smell like Buffalo Trace either. Man, oh man. This is a challenge. I'm going to have to really think about these at the end, I think, guys. All right, back to sample number 1 here. Proof definitely smells the lowest on this. If I was guessing, I'm going to say it's 4 Roses because this is only 80 proof on this. It kind of smells like a 4 Roses product too. It could just be a mental thing, me telling myself that because the proof I think is lower. But definitely going back through this way versus starting with this as my first pour of the night, I think it's... The proof you can tell a lot more now seems much lower. Yeah, very thin, too thin. Compared to the other 4 here, it is just too thin. Not enough. Solid nonetheless. I mean, you can still pick up oak notes. A little bit of floral note in this one, actually. But it's just too thin. Too thin to give me what I'm looking for in my bourbon specifically. All right, guys, I'm going to have to take another break here. Try these side by side. See which one's my favorite. Put them in order for you. I'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back. I took some time with this. Did some behind-the-scenes stuff for patrons only. Here we are. I'm going to start out with my guesses of what I think these are, and then I'm going to rank them in order of my favorite, or my least favorite to my favorite. So, starting with sample 1, I think that this is the 4 Roses. Sample 2, this was a little bit sharper than sample 3 for me, and with Buffalo Trace, I think it's a little bit sharper than Eagle Rare. I feel like Eagle Rare is more rounded off. So, I'm with Buffalo Trace number 2. Eagle Rare is the 3rd sample. Number 4, because of that nuttiness, I think it was Knob Creek 100. Also the proof a little bit. And then 5th sample, I'm thinking is Elijah Craig. Could be completely wrong. Please don't judge me if I'm wrong, please. I'm sorry. I'm just a man. But let's go into what my favorite was now, regardless of what they are. Least favorite, so my 5th choice out of these top 5 bourbons, under $30. Sample 1. So, let's find out what sample 1 was. Letter A, and letter A is 4 Roses. Okay, 1 for 1. 4 Roses is still really solid. It made it to the finals here, and the price on this bottle is great. It was like 25, maybe less, $20 to $25. So a great price on this bottle, great pour. Because of the nice floral note in 4 Roses, it can definitely hold up well in a cocktail as well. So nothing wrong with this pour at all, even though it did place 5th in the finals here. Next, my 2nd least favorite choice out of all of these was going to be sample number 2, actually. And this one is letter C. What is it? Letter C is Eagle Rare. Wow. Now, you can see this bottle is quite low. I just had this about 3 nights ago, though, and knowing what it was, the flavor hadn't changed at all. It tasted completely like it did at the beginning of the bottle. So, could be the order trying these two, but Eagle Rare was my early favorite going to this entire series, and it's still, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, budget options out there. So, if you can find a bottle of Eagle Rare, especially around the $30 price point, definitely pick up a bottle because you are not going to be disappointed in this bourbon at all. I love drinking this all the time. I'm more surprised I couldn't pick that out. I mean, it definitely seemed like Buffalo Trace going back through the second time, but a very, very good bourbon, and I would recommend this. One of the bourbons I always recommend to people who are just starting into bourbon if you can find it. My third choice is actually next in line, so number 3. Let's find out what this one is. Now, my guess was Eagle Rare. I'm guessing now this is probably Buffalo Trace, just based on the flavor profile. This is letter B. B is Buffalo Trace. So, I, at least today, preferred Buffalo Trace to Eagle Rare. Very surprised by that. I love both bottles, don't get me wrong. I really like both bottles, but kind of surprised I chose it over the Eagle Rare. It's a very solid pour. Comes in at about $25 for me locally. So great value. I mean, I use this in cocktails because of what it is. I get store picks of this all the time. I have about 5 or 6 store picks of Buffalo Trace, so I love Buffalo Trace. Maybe doing a blind, you find out what you really like best. So maybe Buffalo Trace is what I like more than Eagle Rare, and $5 cheaper too. And you can find it a lot easier, at least locally for me too. So between the last two, I really took some time between these two. Off camera, number 4 here had a lot of nuttiness, maybe too much for me, but in the end, I decided to go with number 4 as my favorite. So that leaves our second to last favorite as the 5th sample, which is D. And D is Elijah Craig. So I was pretty close on guessing correctly on these, but I did switch the Eagle Rare and the Buffalo Trace. Elijah Craig is great. You can see this round too, I actually did use a store pick on this. It's all I had. I didn't have a normal Elijah Craig. But all of the base Elijah Craig small batches are very, very great value. Same thing about $30. I mean, $29.99 I think is what it is here. One of the best budget bourbons. Another one I recommend all the time to starters into bourbon. It's got all the flavor profiles you want. It's just a classic bourbon. And very, very good. Aged usually about 7 to 8 years still with this. So, I mean, it's for the value, a very great value bourbon. Which leaves our number 1 choice as Knob Creek 100, which this is one I hadn't even tried until I did the Budget Bourbon series. And I am definitely going to be stocking this all the time now. The amount of flavor and everything they can pack into this bottle, 100 proof, that really helps, I think. And maybe it's because I'm a sucker for high proof, but that amped up proof really does make this a great bourbon option. If you're a fan of that nutty note, I mean, Jim Beam has a very pronounced nutty note, at least the white label. You can definitely pick that up. Knob Creek is much more subtle, I think. More the wood notes and the rich vanilla caramel notes you want in bourbon come through more. But for the proof, for the price, I mean, this is still a $25 to $30 bourbon in most places for a $7.50. Just an incredible value, and I wish I had bought a full bottle of this instead of a pint. I wasn't sure. The only reason I bought a smaller one was because I was doing this series and I didn't know if I'd like it that much, but it took the cake on everything. I'm not upset about it. It's a great price, a great bourbon, so definitely can't go wrong with this one. If you can find it, definitely pick this up. Overall, though, every one of these bourbons, especially the finals, and there's so many other ones that I put in my previous videos that didn't make it to the finals that should have. Wild Turkey 101 is another one that's a massive favorite of mine. I'm going to have to do another budget bourbon, at least episode, and include all the options. I mean, 12, 13 things. I won't try them all, but I'll talk about all of them. Because I also left out Old Forester. I mean, Old Forester 100 is another great value, maybe the best value. See, there's so many. It's so hard to decide on a bourbon. If you're like me, you're just so passionate about this stuff. You You want to try everything. You want to find out what's the best. So I would love to do another best budget bourbons episode, and at least talk about all the expressions. We'll try a couple of them, of course. But if you'd be interested in that, please do let me know. I appreciate you guys all watching this series, if you followed the whole series, and I know I took a while for the last round, but thank you for sticking with me till the end here. I hope you enjoyed this final tasting. I learned a lot about my own personal flavor profile, what I like, things I thought I really liked that didn't even make it at the finals. For the longest time, I said Wild Turkey 101 is my all-time favorite budget bourbon, and it's still very, very good and very high up on the list, but it didn't make it in a blind tasting. So if you guys can do something like this, I definitely recommend it. Do a blind tasting for yourself. Have your wife, your friend, whoever. I mean, have a tasting over at your house. Share your whiskey. You guys all do blind tastings. Find out what your favorite is, and let me know down below, what is your favorite budget bourbon? If you guys like these kinds of videos, let me know. Let me know what you'd like to see more of. I want to do more head-to-heads, more blind tastings like this. So if you've got ideas or episode ideas that you want to see, let me know down below. Thank you so much for being a part of this Budget Bourbon series. I hope you had as good of a time watching it as I did filming it. I know I got to drink, so I definitely had more fun, but I appreciate you guys all watching and sticking with me. Stay insane, guys.